Welcome back to Life at the Outpost. This is our second episode. Great game, great opening hit out in round one against the Dolphins down at Suncorp Stadium. I'd say every Cowboys fan everywhere is quite happy right now. I'm questioning your loyalty if you're not.
And I'd be with you as well. That was quite the game. That was hot.
Yeah.
That was so fucking hot.
Outstanding.
Mm.
Yeah, aside from the couple little blunders, officiating blunders and questionable things there, just the boys' form was insane. It was out of this world, in my opinion.
It was a nice return to form.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Probably not everything was as it was a couple seasons ago. Obviously, it's only round one and whatnot, but yeah, beautiful in comparison to last season. Round one last season, this was tenfold better. Insane.
Oh, infinitely.
Laybutt, that first try was something phenomenal. You know, we could talk
It's
about
try
it.
of the week for me. So.
Yeah, we could talk about it for hours, and we probably will talk about it for half an hour. But yeah, just beautiful hit out. I think for me personally, I was most impressed by Drinkwater and Dearden. I think Dearden, he just improves every year. Ever since he's gotten that little bit of confidence, since Chad's rocked up, he's just continued to improve, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Maybe
to watch.
the origin stuff's really boomed him as well.
Yeah, getting that shot and almost like a guarantee almost, or it's not just the club, the Cowboys that have faith in you now. It's the state.
It's the state.
The state's backing you. So
which is awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful to watch. Val as well. Holy, he had some power in those runs.
I think Val had some of the best stats out of every team in the entire round.
Yeah, yep.
I think there was actually some people who even rated him top 3.
Yep.
Which is pretty awesome.
He did very good in fantasy, I know, for fantasy stats.
His run meters were incredible as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, just hit ups, post contact. It just every time
his PCMs were really high.
Every time, he was coming in behind the play of the ball to take a hit up, he just hammered straight through, whether he, broke the line and got away or whatnot, but he was just there with fire, with intent. He was definitely It was definitely a recreation of the recreation of the Cove. There was some Dolphins slashed in behind the rock there a fair bit.
And I mean, full disclosure, I was after the trials, I was a little bit worried about him. I didn't think he was amazing in the trials, but I thought it was like, this could be a bit shaky, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah,
but no, he came out and really fired and really not only showed that he wanted to be there, but showed that he wanted to absolutely make a statement.
Yeah, exactly right.
And what a force of a centre he was.
Yeah,
Jesus.
100%. Cotter and Dearden shared captaincy, co-captaincy. I think was a good call. They again, talking about confidence, probably given both of them that little bit more of a vote of confidence, but their form was beautiful. Both got in, did what they had to do. Tommy's there asking questions constantly. There were a few line breaks he had there, or just plays he was involved in. He was involved in pretty well most of those tries, I think, really, at some point or another. Talagi's one out on the wing with those few questionable passes. That was, textbook stuff. Just, beautiful. Yeah, it was, as a whole, I think, insane. Was there anything, that stood out for you in particular about that game?
I mean, Zach Laybutt in entirety, but like his purely his existence. Honestly, it was just a Midas touch thing, It was just everything he did on the field was just fantastic. I thought all of his runs were great. I think every time he had a chance to attack, he showed intent and made them work really hard to either stop him or he fucking scores. So,
exactly.
I thought it was I thought his down to his his small things he does while holding the ball to make defenders question what they're about to charge into.
Yeah, yep.
Even down to the little things like that, I think he just had a fantastic game. Outside of that, I think a return to form from Chaddy Townsend.
Yeah, definitely positive signs.
Massive improvement from last year, which makes me really actually wonder if he was maybe carrying a little bit of injury after during that last part of the season. Whether it was just niggles or whatnot, but he came out and he was charging in this game. He was charging. He was running at lines. He was making sure that every single play went right down to the end.
Yeah.
Until that tackle had been made and that particular tackle had ended in entirety.
Yep.
He was there from start to finish.
Yep.
And that's what you need. That's what
you want your 7 to be doing.
That's what you want your 7 to be doing.
Yeah.
Like the whole game, and he really did it.
Leading the team and guiding them around. Exactly right.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we could always sit here and talk about Drinky the entire night, but really, seriously, he's something special. He's something special. He knows it.
Yep.
And Dearden as well, obviously. But I think the ones that really stood out for me was definitely Zach, and definitely Chad.
Yep. Yeah, I think. I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head there with that, especially with Chad's return to form as such. It was good. I'm hoping. I'm not going to jinx it, but I'm hoping he can continue that as a baseline sort of thing, because it's the first time in a while, I think you're right, we've seen him attack the line, almost have intent with everything. So it was like every player, everything he was involved in, there was intent. And he was, like you're saying, that laybutt try, he was there. He was.
I mean, after that laybutt try, I'm a big Chad Townsend guy.
Yeah, big Chad Townsend guy again.
Big Chad Townsend guy.
He like, even just being there for it, it allowed laybutt to throw that little fake flick, that little dummy, but yeah, just being there as a potential offload sort of thing to keep plays going.
You could even argue that potentially ruined Hammer's night.
Yeah,
put him on tilt for the rest.
It did. It sent Hammer into a bit of a spiral. I have my own theory there. I think he may be eyeing a return back north, so he was assisting us in getting the win, just showing us how valuable he is to us, or can be to us again.
Cheers, Hammer.
Yeah, it was great to watch. Good little hit out, I think, as well by McIntyre. McIntyre had a good game in my opinion, I think. So further proving why he should be getting a spot or an opportunity.
I actually questioned the selection from with Todd as well, and again,
yeah, probably. I think maybe a bit
just
more.
Got to hand it to Toddy.
Yeah, a bit more of a hey, he's done his part, or he's been part of the system, and he's done his bit. Probably turns up to training and does everything he has to do. And
I imagine it's just the stuff that we don't see that Todd gets to see. Where
yeah, exactly right. Probably
trust me, he earned it.
A few intangibles as well. Just just being there for things, Yeah, it was all round. It was beautiful to watch. I think very unfortunate for Dolphins fans. You hate to see it, you really do. But fins down, Cowboys up, hats up, but pistols up, I should say.
God bless.
But yeah, beautiful game. That one. It gives me a lot of confidence. It's given me confidence that you're not going into the next weekend, not sure what you're going to see or what to expect. Again, early days, round one, but yeah, beautiful.
Definitely
beautiful
faith instilling,
Yeah,
faith instilling for sure.
Yeah.
Now next round we've got the Knights.
Knights at home, which is round one. Oh, sorry, first home game. Round two, but first home game here for us, which is
the return to Country Bank. Let's go.
Which is good stuff, and what a time to be taking the Knights on after the game they had on the weekend. So we'll be desperate, I think, to get back to some sort of form or shake off that rust and whatnot. But I just think the way both teams play, when you compare them, it's got to be the Cowboys. It's their game. You know what I mean?
It's definitely their game to lose, especially after what we saw from round one between both teams. Really, I mean, Cows attack.
Yep.
Sensational.
Yep.
Defense was probably still a little bit soft in some areas. I mean, letting people walk over from I think what.
In comparison to 2 seasons ago, you're right. Yeah, from the 10 meter or whatever.
But we work on that scramble and we'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, exactly 100%. Right. I mean, it was forwards that were scoring those tries. Really, the big bodies on the line that would just crash plays, which you're not okay with. You don't want to accept it, be accepting of it. But
for sure,
yeah, you can see.
Now, one thing I actually have noticed here is that team lists have been released a little early. Obviously, they will change. We know that they'll change. They've got until the last hour. Is what it is. Classic NRL. But one thing I have noticed in there is that they have included Valame for this game.
Yeah. I think he might have been part of the 21 last time as well. This is just the 21 that's been released. We'll run through it real quick. So Cowboys 21 from number 1. Obviously Scotty Drinkwater at fullback. His that game against the Dolphins, doing everything we know he can do. And tenfold, Scotty being involved in everything.
He was involved in literally everything.
Hands on the ball.
And Tom.
Yeah, and there wasn't one point, I don't think, where he was fully predictable. Like, there was a little bit of, dare I say, a little bit of old Kalen Ponga about him. I mean, Drinkwater, we know that Drinkwater's form, when he's in form, is insane. He was Billy Slater's replacement initially, so we know what he can do. But, yeah, I think that whole game, he was just on the mark for that whole game. On the wing, Kyle Felt, obviously. Unfortunately, being disallowed his try to tie up with Matty Bowen as the biggest point. Is it try scorer or point scorer?
It is try scorer.
Try scorer, leading try scorer. So
130.
I guess, I don't know, the NRL they wanted it to be at home for Felt. They wanted Felt to tie that up at home and then also break. He's going to break it at home as well this weekend. So I'm not too sure there. I mean, we can talk about how horrible the the bunker was on the weekend. I mean, the penalty try that should not have been a penalty try in anyone's eyes. Bar Casey Badgers.
Who's he matching up with this weekend? It'd be because Tuala's going to be out.
Marju.
It'd be Marju.
So we're up against Marju, big body. Marju's not too bad in defence. I mean, again, he is a big boy. He's hard, but
that said, Marju without Dom Young on his side is going to be a little bit easier to manage, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, Marju, you mean on the opposite wing? You're talking?
Yeah.
I think Felt. If Drinkwater can keep the defense guessing like they were against the Dolphins, it's not going to be much between Drinkwater and a nice little cutout pass out to the wing for Felt or something like that. Like it's tried and true.
Especially with some of those cutouts that he was throwing in this game.
Yeah,
just gone. Jesus Christ, Scott.
Yep. Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah, dirty, beautiful. With Holmes in the centre again had an outstanding game, as we were saying. His kicking was quite solid too. I thought. Would he miss one? Maybe one kick or two kicks.
One.
Yeah. Pretty good. So it's good if you've got him in fantasy, like I did. A nice early pickup for the centre position. Holmes was piling the points on. I'm thinking we can see him do that again. Laybutt in the other centre position, so he's going up against Gagai. It's a little bit of experience versus inexperience. Hot boy versus wise, the wisdom of the role there in Gagai. I got no doubt in Zach's ability. I think if they can.
I think Dane will actually present a bit of a challenge to him early.
Yeah,
definitely early on in the game.
Yep.
But I think you give him 30, 40 minutes, feel it out a little bit.
Yeah.
That second half, he's probably just gonna wreak havoc on him.
Yeah, exactly. With Murray Talangi on the other wing there, which is he's going to be marking up against young Thomas Jenkins, the Panthers.
I think it's pretty safe to say, in my opinion, money down on Tulangi a little bit.
Yeah, 2+
try scorers.
2+ Tulangi. I mean, Jenkins isn't a small boy, but just last week.
Will he have the experience to deal with Muzz?
Confidence as well. I don't know. After last week was a bit outstanding. I don't think anytime Bomb went up, it was almost like all the whole back three were just pointing at each other to catch it. So
no, you do it.
yeah, exactly. So hopefully, well, we could see Talangi. He's got quite a stride on him and a reach. We could see him go over for a try as well. Hopefully, Tommy Dearden, our brand new co-captain, or one of our brand new co-captains at 5'8" there, lining up against Tyson Gamble. So probably experience-wise, I think Dearden's probably going to have to come out on top there.
That said, out of the people that actually were on the field having a go,
Gamble
was one of them.
Yeah, exactly right.
Granted, he was definitely making some frustrated plays and making some mistakes based off that.
Yeah,
which is where I think Tommy will get over him if he doesn't keep his cool.
Keep a cool head. Dearden's case anyway. Yeah,
he will present an issue early, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
so, similar to Gagai, whereas the only difference is that Gagai's age is going to get him, I think, towards the end of the game.
Gamble's been rocks and diamonds in my opinion a bit, but in that the diamonds, sort of make it a bit worth the rocks, the shit that he dishes up.
Definitely still a diamond in the rough, if you will.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and Yep, Hastings. Jack Hastings is up against Chad Townsend there in the number 7.
This could be a good little contest as well between these two.
Hastings is still, I think, like we know how good he can be. I think he's still might even be a byproduct of how the Knights are doing, but seems to be struggling a little bit. Or he did from that game anyway to lead them around a bit. I don't know.
You have to wonder if he is still struggling with the recovery side of things from that leg. That leg break.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure.
Because he did have his season ended last year with that leg break.
Yeah.
The hip drop.
Yeah. Was that the Carrigan one?
Yeah.
You talking about the season before, or was this?
There's one
just
gone as well.
year?
Yeah, there's the one gone as well.
Yep.
He struggled in that one too. But you have to wonder if maybe he's a little bit ginger still.
Yeah, potentially. Yep. McLean, we've got in the forward pack. I don't think we'll do the Cowboys and then we'll go on, have a quick look at the Knights here, make it a bit easier. But McLean in there at number 8 at prop with Reece Robson at hooker. Tamalolo, which is an interesting one, I think. Managed very heavily minutes-wise.
Yeah, 22.
Again.
Yeah, 22 minutes.
Again, a killer for any fantasy coach or super coach out there that has picked him for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I don't foresee it being anything that changes, really, man. Like, Tamalolo's...
I think maybe the maximum time we see him get is maybe 30.
Yeah, I mean, Todd did address it, and he said, he just wanted to keep him fresh and keep him ready for
and is that not the best case scenario for our entire year?
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, granted, yes, he can play minutes, and he can do it if he's needed to.
Yeah.
But I think he's better as an impact player.
Yeah. Whether that's something Tamalolo likes or not, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't hear what goes on behind the scenes or not, but hopefully it's almost just a bit of an idea of warming him up too, easing him into the season. We do know how damaging he can be when he gets a run up, gets his steam up and whatnot, Jason.
And especially when he gets that little run up, like his first sort of run as well.
Yeah, exactly.
When he gets his first run, he really, really takes defense by surprise, and he can put holes in walls straight away. He's a very big impact player, and I think that utilizing him this way is actually potentially better than being a bigger minutes player.
Having Cotter there at lock, it sort of takes the need for him to ball play as much, which we know
100%.
he can, but takes the need for him to ball play out of it, which should simplify his game in theory. Just focus on those hard hit ups, or even taking the line on and then a late pass or something like that. But
and that's when he's at his best, is when he is taking the line on.
Exactly right. With our one of our favourite sons, Harlem Lukey, in the second row, their number 11, had an outstanding game against the Dolphins as well. That try was beautiful, albeit it was somewhat gifted to him. Beautiful that he was there in the chase and ready to pick that ball up as cleanly as he did, straight into the breadbasket.
Such a beautiful line runner.
Oh yeah, he's
sensational.
We've said it previously, but getting that game time is probably the biggest thing I think for Lukey. He's been, unfortunately, in and out due to injury. Like we get sparks of him. We see how he can shine, and then he gets stung by injury. So you got recovery time, then you got to ease back into the team and whatnot. But now being one of our starting edge forwards, second rowers there, I think more big things to come from him, which is good. It gives me a lot of confidence. Nanai, the other second rower there, again had a amazing game. I think.
Fantastic return to form.
Yeah, return to form it's exactly right. Like that's how it is, right? Like he
take it on the line, getting up in their grill. That's what he was all about.
Constantly tackles, every effort was insane.
Involved.
Other than that little blunder there where it was him and Laybuck going for that try, and they both they were a bit, no one really committed to it, I guess. That he was there though, you know what I mean? Attacking, he was there ready
Still
for
involved.
it. So back to some of the best we've seen from him in previous seasons. With Cotter in at lock. I think he's doing well, sharing that co-captaincy, Cotter, between him and Deard, and I think it's.
I also like the idea of the co-captaincy. That way it's a shared pressure as well.
Yeah, exactly right, and it's almost like how you can for the most part, I guess, take the forwards. You handle the forwards, and I'll handle the backs, sort of thing.
A nice direct little link between both spectrums of the team. So.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
It's a great idea from Todd, and I think it's going to be a great thing going forward.
We do have some of the big bodies on the bench too, so until Cotter eventually may even be closer to an 80-minute player or something, or he does go into locker if he needs to, shifts out to the edge, and maybe Lukey pushes into the forwards for a bit or something. I don't know. I think it's an amazing prospect with Cotter there. He's only going to keep improving, which is great. Interchange, we've got Old Faithful, Jakey Granville, number 14 there. He just gets in and does his job.
Workhorse.
Does what he needs to do. Yeah, the workhorse, old Granville. He's handy player to have. I mean, we may be seeing our last sort of season out of him or seasons out of him, so we want to make the most of it and make every game count. But I think he's just your tried and true player there at number 14. Griffin Neem as well, number 15, who I think had quite a good impact. Massive body, but he just
another really, really nice line runner.
Yeah, I think his fitness is increasing, so being such a big body is very handy as well, but his fitness seems to be increasing as well, like we saw in those trial games.
His confidence too, man. Like he's doing things that your centers are supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
Like he's yeah,
exactly.
He's a big forward boy, like.
Yep.
But he's defying the odds in some plays, and that's what we'd like to see. We like to see a bit of mix it up a little bit,
That's it. With Sam McIntyre in the 16, we touched on him earlier. Had a good game, I think, against the Dolphins there. By all reports from Toddy, he just gets in, does the job. We know he does. He can do that job there, so he'll hold on to that for a little bit longer, I think. Anyway, with Kula Kefu Finafuiaki rounding out the 17, who again, probably nothing, well breaking from him in that game, but another one who just gets in and does his job.
He's still got a few minutes though, and he came on and he did his job, which was good.
When the opportunity arises, he is there for it, sort of thing. So he's got that motor, and he's only going to increase stamina and skill the more games he
needs
gets.
Game time more than anything. That's what we need from him.
Exactly right, and it's hopefully he can see Cowboys we're giving him that opportunity now, so hopefully it's something that can be paid back when the time comes, for re-signing or something. With the reserves, you got Tommy Chester as 18th man, Thomas McKaylee in 19, Sammy Valame is number 20, Jack Gajewski 21, and Jake Clifford number 22. Those guys I think will probably find, barring any injury or suspensions, will probably be very they'll probably float around there for quite a while, I think, in the reserves, to be honest. So very handy set of backup players to have, you know what I mean, as first picks.
What a set.
Any one of those I would personally be happy to slot in, and whether they slot onto the bench or take someone's spot, run on spot, I think I'd be
especially
relatively
Tommy
confident.
Chester.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Chester and Clifford, who's yet to get some first grade game time back with the Cowboys.
I'd love to see what he has to show back in the NRL,
Yeah, exactly right. You don't want to disturb anything too much at the moment, but out of necessity, when that spot comes available, I think he's going to be ready to plug and play. We'll go back to the Knights now, start from fullback with Kalen Ponga, Captain Kalen Ponga. Not a horrible game, but yeah, just for what he showed or the clinic he put on at the end of last season, and their run was a little bit quiet, I think, or a little bit average. Probably shut down a bit too.
I think he was more shut down than anything based on what I saw in that game. And I mean, realistically, when the 80 minutes ticked over, he still had the ball.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He was the one that was still having to go, trying to make shit happen, even though there was 2 minutes to go and there was 16 behind. He was the one who didn't give up. So
yep.
You got to look at that and say, yep, that's our man. But I think he's got a lot of work to do this week.
Yeah, which we know how hard it can be. They came up and got a little bit of a trouncing last year by the boys, which I think they can definitely do again. Thomas Jenkins on the wing, Gagai on his inside in the centre, Brad McBest on the other centre position with Marju on the other wing. As we said, Gamble at 5'8", and Hastings at halfback. With the forwards, Jacob Safidi, Phoenix Crosland, Leo Thompson, Tyson Frizzell, and Kai Pearce-Paul. Rounded out by Adam Elliott there up against Cotter in the lock position. Not a bad forward pack by any means. I mean, there's a little bit of experience there, but I just think in terms of form, from maybe taking out Tamalolo,
for me, man, honestly, it's crazy to think for me, like out of those set of forwards that we just mentioned there, that Frizzell is the one that stands out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, he's getting on a bit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was the one out of all of those people who actually stood up and played as hard as he could in that game.
One of the best, especially last season, I thought too.
Yeah. He had a fantastic, especially towards the end of last season as well. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think Crosland, I'm surprised to not see him going as hard as he was in the end of last game.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe there was a bit of shutdown there, but I don't recall him being that focused on. I recall a lot of effort being invested into Kalen.
Yeah, Ponga. That's the man.
And yeah, absolutely credits to them. Yeah, but I think based on that pack alone, I think if things are going to happen and things are going to make a massive impact, or at least against us, the one thing that they do have against us that is probably better than what we've got, or if not better, at least equaling. We're looking at their forward pack. So we're looking at your Saifidis, you're looking at your Frizzells, so like their second row, their forward pack as well. Those are the guys who are going to be taking hard runs and getting them up the field.
Yep.
They're the ones where I believe they can actually make a dent in us.
Yep.
It's going to be tough for them. Don't get me wrong.
Overall, you'd have to say our forward pack's probably going to be the more dominant one, or stronger one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interchange Jack Cogger with Daniel Sofidi, Jack Hetherington, and rounded out with Jed Cartwright. Reserves for the Knights: Brodie Jones, Will Price, Matt Croker, Fletcher Sharp, and Thomas Can't. Thomas can't get a run on the spot at the moment.
Bit unfortunate.
Unfortunate, old Thomas. I think, I
think their best odds have to be through that forward.
Yeah, exactly right.
The middle pack.
But which I myself, like we're just saying, confident. I think our forward pack just form-wise should win that out easily.
I just don't see them having a chance on the edges. That's the issue. That's the issue I've got.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, the one thing we haven't touched on yet, which we should definitely, is the Sheriff's new look. He's gone clean. He's gone naked mole rat.
Hotty toddy.
The goatee and mustache are gone. It was quite confronting to see in that
It was definitely
pre-match
confronting,
interview.
yeah.
Very, rather confronting actually. Now that I think about it.
$1 million.
Yeah, it was quite it had a fair bit of Dr.
Very
Evil
Dr.
about
Evil.
it, especially with that smile on when that penalty try was awarded.
Yeah.
I think it's, in my opinion, a bit of an omen, right? I hate to say it for Toddy, but I think he has to keep that clean skin going for the sake of the boys.
For the sake of the boys, Toddy.
Yeah, do it for the boys. Keep the razor sharp. I think.
So would you say that he's maybe the cutting edge coach?
He could very well be. I'd say his skin's pretty clean in terms of form so far, if we're going with puns.
God bless.
I think the boys they by all accounts, I think they can do it. First home game, it's going to be a big one, always is. But I just think carrying that confidence in from that game is probably what is going to get them over the line more than anything, right? They want to just keep that form rolling.
And if they come in with the same attack against the Knights' defense, if their defense stays the same as it did in round one, it could be another big one, mate.
Yeah,
they're going to do it tough up here in the heat. So.
I can only hope so. I mean, I think that's the biggest scoreline the Cowboys have ever had. I think that's the most points they've scored at Suncorp, right? At Lang Park.
So,
why not make it bigger than the the Tigers game? Scoreline wise, why not? Any tips for this round two?
So currently, I've got cows, and I mean it might sound like a little bit of bias, but I just can't. Like I said, if they're gonna have a chance, it'll be in the middle, but I just can't see him having a chance on the edges.
Yeah.
I really can't. So I've got to give it to the cows I've actually got 13 plus.
13 plus?
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm going to agree with you there. I think Cowboys definitely. I'm going to say Felt for 2+ tries. Now, it could be 3+ tries, but I know just that the classic setup with Drinkwater. Once those defenders come in, Drinky gets that ball, and now you've also got Laybutt there that they're going to be asking questions about. They're going to be a bit wary about. There's just going to be so much more there. I think they're a lot more dangerous now, not having Papa Hiku there to be as predictable, I guess. So something like that to just bring maybe an experienced winger in or a tired Marju or something like that. Drinky's cut out, but the cut out to Felt, on that side, you know what I mean?
It's a staple, really. It is really a staple. I think for me, I want to go a little bit out, outside. Because I mean, obviously, you're gonna. I feel like you're gonna see points from Kyle and from between Kyle and Laybutt, depending on which one you take your pick on there.
Yeah.
Yep. Which one gets the Harbour Bridge? Because I think you're going to see that cut out Harbour Bridge pass a lot.
There'll be a few attempts, and albeit
and you saw it in this last game, and I mean there was nothing happening in that play. Absolutely nothing happening in that play.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden,
bang. Yeah, points.
Points instantly. So it's like, yeah, they can make it work. As for my tip, though, I think it's going to be on that other side. I'm looking at Lukey. I really am.
Yep.
I think he was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he gets out hunger satiated this game.
Yep. Another try. Good stuff. Rightio, Cowboys fans, we will sign off for this week. It's first home game of the season, so we're hoping it can be a big one. It'll probably be until just after Easter, I think. Is that the next one where we play the Titans? I think that's the second home game. So we've got a few away games in between now and then, two rounds or 3 rounds or whatever there it is. Hopefully it's a big one. We get a good crowd for it, and then we'll see everyone for the Titans game. Go Cowboys.
Yeah. Go the Cows.